This podcast may contain adult language, adult situations, spoilers, and some brief nudity, so parental guidance is suggested.
We have such sights to show you.
After about 5 minutes of this movie, you're gonna wish you had 10 beers.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh, well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la, yeah.
Welcome back to the Cinema Recall Podcast.
Hello, listeners and watchers. Welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Recall Podcast. I am the Vern. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you are doing. We are doing our look at filmmaker Robert Rodriguez and a new series I'm calling Recalling Rodriguez. Probably not the most creative name title, but I don't care. It's what I'm choosing right now. My guest for this episode is Aaron Neuwirth. He's one of the hosts of Out Now with Aaron and Abe. He is a Rotten Tomato critic-approved critic who has written for many other publications. I know he's written for the Code of Zeke. Aaron, welcome to the show, buddy.
Vern, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
It is a big honor having you on the show. Greatly appreciate it. Now, you saw the show notes. We are going to be talking about From Dusk till Dawn, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, and we got Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Juliette Lewis. But before we get into that tale, I need to ask you this, boss. What is your sort of familiarity with Robert Rodriguez? What is the first film you saw of him? What do you think of his style?
I've grown up with Rodriguez. My first time I saw of his was Desperado, but obviously I went back and saw El Mariachi, obviously, and I even own Road Racers, this weird TV movie thing in between that and Desperado. But then since then, I've always been a fan of Rodriguez. I think he's a fantastic personality. I love hearing him talk about film and filmmaking. I think it's in the same way that Del Toro or Peter Jackson or any number of filmmakers like to talk not only about their influences or what they're doing in a given moment, but just how the filmmaking process works, how they dig into things. Especially for Rodriguez, who's a guy that's always worked independently. He doesn't work in Hollywood really. There's only a couple films that are kind of in that system, and he does so many things DIY. Just so much of his stuff is just coming out of his garage and his own studio and what have you. And I find that fascinating. I mean, he wrote a book early on about getting El Mariachi made or whatnot, just to give you the basics of how filmmaking works. And I think that's just a interesting way. It's an interesting path that he carved for himself. And I've even now where he's kind of settled into sort of Netflix world as far as kind of making streaming movies or what have you with this continuing the spike and stuff. I want him to. I keep wanting him to succeed further. Something about when I look at where he and Tarantino, because there's obviously they're good friends, and I look at how Tarantino's kind of expanded beyond some of the stuff that he was normally doing and sort of went to different areas. Rodriguez kind of plays in a lot of the same sandbox for a good portion of his career. Every now and then he did some ambitious steps though, like Sin City or Alita, and it's clearly he can move out of a comfort zone and do something that's either wildly ambitious or just operate on a huge budget and see where that gives us. So I always root for him as much as I'm happy to support him just doing the thing he wants to do, whether it's making movies of his kids, which he seems very happy with, or just experimenting with something like Hypnotic, which is not a film I really liked, but it's oh, that's something different. I like just seeing him being out there trying stuff, and I just wish he'd try even more stuff because I think he's just so full of talent. So.
Yeah, well, especially with his first film, he did everything that himself. He financed the money himself. He kind of shot for El Mariachi. He kind of shot everything himself. And then when he got to make Desperado, now he's got a big studio system behind him. I think this was From Dusk till Dawn. This was his third feature that he did.
Yeah.
I know that he shot The Misbehaviors or Four Rooms, the anthology
that
film.
segment thing there. Yeah.
And I think this is where he met Tarantino. Well, I know he met Tarantino during Desperado, and Tarantino and him collaborate on Four Rooms. for that
Yeah.
project. But then I think while they were on
They
the
had
set,
met like at some film festival, like before, like after El Mariachi and Reservoir Dogs, because they came out the same year. So like they had found each other at some point, and then yeah, they kept interacting with each other, obviously. From there.
yeah, like Tarantino had cameo appearance in Desperado, and then they came
Yeah.
together and worked as directors for the anthology film Four Rooms. And then
Mhm.
this was going to be their next feature that they were going to fully work on together. Um, and I think that, and try me, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I think Scott Spiegel was one of the original writers of the story, and then Tarantino took that story and made it into a screenplay. And I guess Scott Spiegel could not get the money to make the movie that he wanted. So when put Tarantino's name on it, now people are interested in that script. And then he gave it to Robert Rodriguez because he felt that Robert Rodriguez knows how to do action films based on Desperado. And they felt that with Tarantino's script and Rodriguez's direction, that would be a good sort of like collaboration of the minds right there. And I agree. I think their collaborations together are probably some of my favorite stuff. I love what they did with the whole Grindhouse feature they've done. And I kind of wish they would have worked more together. I know that Tarantino helped out with Sin City on a few scenes, but
Mhm.
I want them. It's too bad that Grindhouse didn't make much money. And honestly, I don't think this one from Dust till Dawn had a big box office opening when it first came out. It became the classic that it did on home video for sure.
It
But
became a cult favorite. Yeah, it wasn't a huge hit. It wasn't like a bomb, but it wasn't a huge hit either,
it
for sure.
yeah, exactly. It's one of those things too, because I know that they were touring from Dust till Dawn on the whole Comic-Con tour. And the issue I have too, because people at Comic-Con, they become super hyped up and they seem super amped to watch a movie, but then they never go see the movie when it comes out. It's like the whole thing with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That had a huge theme at Comic-Con, but no one saw the movie, and it didn't do well at the office there at all.
Yeah, which is a classic kind of, and that's certainly that applies more to like this like newer era where like the internet is its own like universe, and it just studios keep not realizing that the internet is a very different thing than what general audiences want to like embrace. With something like I mean, to Dust Till Dawn's credit, like no, it didn't blow the doors off as far as box office, but again, it wasn't a bomb. It made money, and also, I mean, it got 2 direct-to-video sequels and a TV show. I mean, it lives on. Like people like
Yeah,
From Dusk Till Dawn enough to like keep that going. Yes, the home box office certainly helped with that, obviously, by rentals and whatnot. In the VHS era, where it was way different, where you could make just as much money, if not a lot more, once you're at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video at that point. That's clearly a big part of it. That's not there anymore.
that's
So.
fair. That's fair.
But yeah, as far as like the origin, you're not wrong. Like I know Spike Spiegel. Like there's some like weird credit in there. I know it's Robert Kurtzman's like idea. That's like,
Yeah, I think that was right.
it,
Yeah,
and then it goes like, and Tarantino just like basically takes it as like a paid writing gig, puts it together, considers directing it himself, but he wanted to focus on like because he's like doing so many things at this point. He's so popular now at this right now, so he's like doing Pulp Fiction. He's dealing with basically losing natural born killers to Oliver Stone.
mm,
He also wants to act in this movie, so he wants to like he doesn't have time to direct. He can't like do all these things at once. He's like, okay, if I got to focus on acting, something that he's not always the best at, it's probably gonna help if he actually puts a lot of focus towards that, as opposed to trying to direct and write and be produced all at the same time. So yeah.
yeah. I don't. I definitely want to get into like all the actors in this for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty to talk about as far as the actors. So,
But let's do this.
yeah,
I'm gonna play like a quick little ad spot from Dusk till Dawn, and then we're gonna do a conversation about it. Here we go.
cool.
For 2 of America's most dangerous criminals,
Do you understand the meaning of the words low profile?
one night is all that stands between them and freedom.
This is my kind of place.
But it's going to be one hell of a night. From Robert Rodriguez, from Quentin Tarantino.
Welcome to slavery.
No thanks. I already have a wife.
From Dusk Till Dawn, rated R.
All right. So
So
from Dusk, go ahead, buddy.
here's the thing. The thing I love about From Dusk Till Dawn is getting to see it with people that don't know what this movie is. If they just know it's like some Tarantino Rodriguez thing, the last thing I want to do is tell them what it's about beyond saying these two guys kidnap a family and try to cross the border. That's the most I'd ever want to tell somebody. And I know the marketing had a lot of like, obviously it's like half of the movie's a vampire movie. So it's like, if you're marketing a film like this, you're not going to not market that. So they kind of give that away. Now in time, we're in a place where you don't have to worry about that, right? Because it's not like we're gonna it's not gonna affect the box office. So I love getting people to go into blind on this movie because there's such a long period of time before there's even a hint at something being like a horror movie involved in this. And so it's great to get the reaction out of audiences that like don't know this movie whatsoever. And they're like, what?
Well, I'm curious about this too. Did you watch this in theaters when it came out?
I did not. This is 96. So I'm only 9 years old. I saw this on Showtime, I believe, when it would first.
Okay.
Because it's like, it's Miramax. So it'd be like a Showtime premiere. So I saw this. My mom, she was a big horror fan. And so we watched horror films all the time together. And so we watched this one together. And I can't remember if she knew or didn't know it was a vampire movie specifically, but we certainly had very fun reactions once the film reveals itself as a vampire movie.
Sure. Oh, because I'm old enough to have seen this movie in theaters when it came out. And when I went to see the movie in theaters, there were a lot of people in my theater who were expecting a vampire movie. And in most horror films, you get like a scare in the first like 10 minutes. First 10, 15 minutes, you get some sort of scare that happens. And when that didn't happen in this movie, a lot of people thought they were in the wrong movie and they left because they were seriously thinking like people were expecting to see a vampire movie, and with a vampire movie, you expect vampires happening in the first 5 minutes, and you don't even really see our lead characters right away because we got this one long scene with the sheriff and this liquor store guy. John Hawkes plays the liquor store guy.
As Pete Bottoms, I believe.
Pete Bottoms, exactly. And the sheriff, who I've seen in many other Tarantino films.
Yeah, Michael Parks.
Who
reprises his role in Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 and in Grindhouse. So it's like, it's a character in the universe of, like, in the world of this film, this would be like, chronologically, this would be his last movie because he dies in this movie.
Exactly.
So he's able to survive like a zombie apocalypse, and he investigates the murder of the bride, only to be killed by the Gecko brothers at some point later on down the road.
He's also in Death Proof too. I do know he's a.
That's right. Yeah, he's in Death Proof. Yeah, so he investigates Stuntman Mike. He investigates the bride, survives the zombie apocalypse, comes back to Texas at some point, and then gets murdered by the Gecko brothers.
And it's like this very long opening shot. It's got this really long dialogue, and the way that Michael Parks talks, there's a lot of like pauses, and the way he delivers the dialogue too. It's like, well, the shy girl took 2 men hostage. I think I'm just gonna get drunk tonight. And for the first part of it, you have no idea what this is until he goes to the bathroom, and this is where we meet Seth and Richie Deco, played by George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney at this time was known for just being in ER. Now, I know the only episode I ever watched of ER was the one that Quentin Tarantino directed.
Okay.
That's the only one, because I really had no interest. Did you ever watch ER?
I wasn't like, no, not out of didn't want to. It wasn't like the thing I was watching at that. It wasn't the age for me. I wasn't like, ER. Like, because right now I'm watching The Pit, and I'm like, I should go back and watch ER.
Yeah, it's okay. Exactly. And then we're both actors are there. Tarantino, Robert, no, what? George Clooney. Why am I confusing names here?
Clooney and Tarantino as the Seth and Richie. Yeah.
I like the fact too that Richie, Tarantino's character, is just bad off the shit crazy right away. Like when he says to Seth, hey, this guy is mouthing words. He's saying, help us. You got John Hawks going, I didn't say anything. No, I swear you did. I don't know if you recognize it too, but the two girls that they have hostage there, one of them is Amy Graham, who appeared previously in Jackie Brown. She was the woman that sold Jackie Brown her suit in the department store.
Yeah.
So
Heather Graham's sister, her older sister, I believe.
I think so. And I know they brought back a lot of other actors from their other movies to be in this, and the fact that you had like Juliette Lewis, who was in Tarantino's script for Natural Born Killers in this, and Harvey Keitel from Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction in this. So this whole opening scene with the bar looks like it's going to be an opening for a different movie. So I totally understand if people know nothing about this movie, if they saw the ad spots for this, and we just play with the vampires, and they walk in, and they see this whole liquor store hold up, they're gonna think I'm in the wrong movie because it goes for a long time. These good 5-10 minute scene, which I think.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good cold open. Yeah.
But I do want your thoughts about this opening scene with Seth and Richie Gecko and how it sets
I
the
mean, I
tone.
love this whole sequence. I think it's well shot. It's tense. Watching it this time, because I certainly did. I'm happy to watch this movie whenever I can. To be clear, I love this movie. I mean, that's not already obvious. This is one of my favorite movies. Like, I love From Dusk till Dawn, and that hasn't changed. But something I was picking up this time around is the Graham Revell score for this film. When this whole stuff happened, like once the shit hits the fan and people are getting shot and John Hawks is basically like burning alive, you can hear in the score what sounds like a horror movie. It's like a horror score at that point. It might not be obvious, like especially if you don't know what the movie is at all, but the way he's using music, it very much hints at the fact that like, yeah, this is violence, but it's violence in a way that's going to lead to like more of this kind of macabre type atmosphere, which I found to be interesting. Like the movie's not necessarily hiding the fact that it's a horror film in terms of its like, even the way it's shot, like when John Hawks pops back up and he's on fire and everything, it's like, that's a horror scene, essentially. It just happens to involve these two really tough guys. So you're not really thinking, it's not like teenagers that are just like, oh my God, it's two tough guys that have seen this kind of stuff before. So they're like, all right, shoot them. Like, that's all right. But yeah, one more thing. The establishment of both of these guys with Seth and Richie. Clooney, who I'm happy with as a movie star. He's a very good movie star. He's a very good actor. He is so cool in this movie. Like, it is ridiculous. He's oozing, like, all of that charisma he has. That's very, you see that in a lot of his films. This is like, that the raw form of it before he like really assembles his movie star persona. So he's just like, all he has is the cool right here. And it's just so like plainly on screen. Meanwhile, you have Tarantino, who supposedly cast Clooney because he thought they looked like each other, which is a very funny thing. As a big part of it. It's like, yeah, we look kind of alike, which Tarantino or which Clooney has had interesting comments on whenever they bring that up. But Tarantino, is he a good actor in general? No, not really. In this movie, he actually works quite well, and I think part of that's because his character has moments where he kind of mouths off, but for the most part, he's not a motor mouth like Tarantino is. He's quieter. He's quieter, and he's using his eyes, and he's very intense, and he's a creep. And I'm like, well, those things describe Tarantino also very well. So watching him here, like early on, when he's just like whispering to Clooney, or like kind of playing it more low key than compared to like the motor mouth Tarantino guy that's talking all blah, 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 like that, slowing him down really helps him as an actor here. I'm not going to say this is an amazing performance, but in terms of Tarantino's acting work, this is certainly the top of the mountain for him.
Oh, 100%. This is Tarantino's best role for sure, because he's playing this character who is a schizophrenic. He sees things and hears things that are not necessarily there, and he gets a lot of things wrong. And plus, I kind of admire someone to play somebody who's a genuine creep and a monster. And Richie Gecko, compared to Seth, is a monster, especially in like scenes like later on too that we'll describe. And then after they do get out the whole place explodes. They walk away.
In this fun one take where they're like not looking at the explosion and they're just talking to each other while everything's blowing up in the background. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. We got that great credit sequence. I loved
Mm-hmm.
it, where From Dusk till Dawn comes scrolling up,
Yeah.
and then right away you see all the other actors that are going to be in this film. Salma Hayek, Cheech Marin, other people there. And then while they're driving away,
Especially watching it like now, if you watch this movie now and you haven't seen it and you just saw that list of names, you'd be like, this movie sounds incredible. Look at all these people in this.
Fred Williamson's in this one, too. Tom Savini's in this. And I love the fact, too, because I was listening to the commentary on this DVD, and on the commentary, there was that, in that scene where it shows like the shot of the car and you see the woman in the trunk. And I remember Tarantino just saying in the commentary, I just wrote the script Spider-Man Vision. And you got it. Like, he's talking to Robert Rodriguez, and he says, I just wrote Spider-Man Vision, and you got it. Just have the whole hole and have Spider-Man Vision, seeing the woman in the trunk. And then I don't want to do a whole like plot description here, but I just want to talk about some key scenes in this.
Sure.
I like when they do get to the hotel. I love the fact that the mean old bastard that has the hotel, he's the same guy in Four Rooms who gives Tim Roth the job at the hotel in Four Rooms. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. They're both in a hotel. And
it's been a minute since I've seen Four Rooms, so that's neat to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then I think after they do get to the hotel and they open up the trunk, they find the woman hostage there. We would have a scene with Kelly Preston as a news person, talking with John Saxon. That's right. Nightmare on Elm Street, Enter the Dragons, John Saxon as
talking
like
to Buffy the Vampire Slayer about the Gecko Brothers.
It's so weird to have a movie with like these big stars have like these very small cameos in this movie.
And that's, I think that speaks to Rodriguez. He is a very likable person, and I think he's just. I think in the time he had in Hollywood, he made a lot of good relationships. He met a lot of the right people. He's being friends with Tarantino. I'm sure helps. Being kind of under Weinstein's wing at that time, regardless of Weinstein in general, he does know a lot of people. So I mean, and if you're a person like Rodriguez, who I assume likes to interact and have friends and like, that's why you look at like Grindhouse or Sin City and you have so many actors in there. It's not because it's like we need jobs. It's because Rodriguez called his pals up and said, hey, you want to shoot like for 2 days in my garage? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? So like, I think that speaks to a lot of what's going on here as well, where it's like, yeah, you can get John, get a few like cool actors that he's just a fan of probably because why not? And they said yes because they like him. Like, I can completely understand that.
And I'm sure they probably see that here's a guy who's not really working for the studio system. Here's a guy who's doing it for the love of making movies themselves. And I'm pretty sure like John Saxon's like, hey, this reminds me back when I was going back to doing film as my early days, just do it just for the fun of it and enjoyment. And I appreciate that very much. The woman that the Kettle brothers take hostage,
Gloria,
all I know is that woman was Quentin Tarantino's acting teacher.
Yes, yeah.
And so I thought that was really kind of a cool thing. I love that when Seth does get back, he told him, of course, the Big Kahuna Burgers when he gets back to the hotel.
Even right before what you're going to say, I like that he's talking to Tarantino first, right? And he's like looking at his hand and he gives him his burger. And then the move he does where he has his burger in his hand and he takes the other burger out. And he's been talking to Richie. He's been talking to his brother. So he's like not even thinking about it. Then he's like, wait a minute. What's this other? Where's the girl? That little like real. That's such a neat moment to me every time I watch it where he's like, wait.
Even prior to this, the sound design when Seth is looking at Gloria, the soundtrack does a very low, like rumbling noise.
Yeah.
And for me, that is some of the most scariest moments of the movie, is watching Seth look at this woman and have this roll rumbling sound effect going on, because you feel unsafer, especially after you hear all the things that the news reporters said that Seth has done in the past too.
And Richie.
Sorry, Richie. I'm so sorry, Richie.
No, No, and you're not wrong. Again, I mean, I think that's the movie. You know, again, you wouldn't necessarily guess. Obviously, this is going to vampires, but the movie is establishing there's horrific stuff. You know, it's not just a crime thriller. There's more than average amounts of horror elements going on here that are lurking under the surface of being like a cool crime movie. So
Exactly. So even if you did not know this was to be like a vampire story, not the fact you have this woman there being held hostage is where a lot of the scares come in. And when Seth does come back and he talks to Richie about where the girl is, and he kicks open the door, the way that the editing is done is this. The editing is just pitch perfect by just not showing the cards, only showing Seth's reaction to Richie, because I feel like Seth has seen this before.
Yes.
And he's hoping that his brother would get better. And the way the camera just flashes on the scenes of violence, we're not quite sure what's there. That to me is really effective, really scary, really frightening and disturbing.
It's a good like directorial choice. Like there's only one other movie I could think of that like does something like that so explicitly, which is Danny Boyle's Sunshine, when they enter the other spaceship, the first mission, and you get all these like flash cuts of like the previous crew and like what's going on there, and it's supposed to be obviously supposed to be evoking creepy feelings as well, where you're not really seeing what this is, you're just seeing a flash of something in the same way you're seeing in this hotel room where you're like, clearly this woman is like been demolished by Richie in some way, but the film is wise enough to be like, it's creepier to not exactly see what happened and just see these glimpses of stuff, and it's nerve rattling.
And their interaction with each other, where Seth is like, "Do you think this is what I'm about? This is not what I do. I do not hurt people that don't deserve to be hurt, and I don't rape women. What you are doing is wrong. What you do is wrong." And I feel like this is the conversation that they have had before many times. And each time Seth is like, "You know what? I think we just do this one last job. I get my brother away somewhere and we could be safe and just hang out, and you
That's
won't have to worry about anything anymore."
It's key to why Clooney's good in this movie. It's not just that he's like cool. Like I know he said he's cool. He is cool, but like there is like underlying elements of guilt in what, like, where he's asking, because he asks us like, "Is it me? Like, do I bring this out?" Like he seems like he feels guilty about Richie's actions. Like he's like as if he wasn't able to help him, or is it because like he's a criminal that like Richie feels he needs to like go even further than SEFTA? Like there's something there in the way Clooney plays that where it's like, I don't know how to handle my brother, and I feel like I'm am I at fault? So yes, like you're saying, it's like, all right, let's just get out of here. Let's go to El Rey and then never have, maybe he'll just be fine. Maybe he won't have to worry about murdering and raping people anymore.
Yeah. But it made this clear, the Gecko brothers are trying to meet. I forgot the actor's name in El Rey.
Cheech Marin, but his name is Carlos. They're trying to be
Carlos.
They need to be Carlos across the border. Yeah,
he's going to Carlos because they need to get money for the robbery that they've done.
They have all the money, and they have to pay him 30% of that money in order to stay in this mythical place of El Rey, like this area where like criminal heaven, basically.
Yeah, criminal heaven. That's fair. There's criminal heaven there. Before we get any further here, I need to talk about the Fuller family. Of course, we have Jacob, played by Harvey Keitel. We have Kate, played by Juliette Lewis, and Scott, played by Simon Fuller. What are your thoughts about this family? And
Scott is Ernest Liu. Scott
Ernest.
Fuller.
Sorry, Scott is Ernest Liu. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
It is Ernest Liu. Okay, I got those names confused. Okay,
yeah. Harvey Keitel is giving this movie so much more than it needs, and that's not a bad thing because it's you can do whatever he wants to. But Harvey Keitel's so good in this film because he's Harvey Keitel, who is a fantastic actor. But like he is not phoning this in. He is playing a preacher, a pastor who's lost his way. His wife has died under horrible circumstances. All he has is his kids. He's trying to just like. He's left his church, so he's like lost in his religion right now, but he has these children he wants to take care of, so he's like, maybe I can spend time with them or whatnot. Now there's this kidnapping plot that's like, oh my god, like he's so, and Harvey Keitel plays it so well, and with an accent and a beard things I don't
Yes.
normally see with Harvey Keitel. So it's like he's excellent in this movie. Like just so again, just giving it everything he needs to, as opposed to just being like, yeah, all right, whatever. He's absolutely completely tuned in. Julia Lewis, who I've always liked, she's very good here. You know, it's an early role for her. She's still young, like she's still like maybe 20.
Oh God,
Like,
yeah.
she's not old in here, but she works well. She interacts well with the rest of the cast, and it would. So it's probably a pretty intimidating crowd to work with, as far as Harvey Keitel, and then Clooney being cool, and Tarantino probably just not shutting up at ever between takes. And then and then you have Ernest Liu. This is, I think, like the only, I don't know anything else that he's done after this, if anything, but he's completely fine. He works as well as he needs to.
I guess he is fine in this, and I can see why his character's in this, but at the same time, I don't think he really adds anything really to the story
Yeah, it's
per
more to
se.
increase the stakes, right? It's more to, like, if we have an extra
Like,
character, it just means there's one more person that we have to worry about dying, and we don't necessarily want to see die.
he could have been the dog that the
Yeah.
family owns, all right? He doesn't
Yeah.
really like do much in this movie, I'm sorry to say. He's all right. He does sort of split things up as the family's trying to get to the place to meet Cheech Marin's character, but I don't think it really adds anything to the movie per se.
He's
Not
a
a bad
sounding
actor.
board. He's a sounding board. He's someone that the other
Yeah.
characters can bounce dialogue off of. And again,
Okay.
yeah, if you need to like worry about our characters, worrying about a teenage boy, that adds to the stakes, as opposed to just like, oh, it's just the Gecko Brothers. Okay, like
Yeah, okay. Fair enough right
I know
there.
what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah.
it's not like a performance that stands out as be like, yeah, what was the best part of From Dusk Till Dawn? Scott. Like, no one's
Yeah.
saying that. But in
Only
terms
my
of just like
favorite there.
in terms of making it more dramatic, when like Kate loses the rest of her family, like that sucks. So like it adds in that regard.
Oh, 100%. So the Ketchup brothers, they go find out that this family has this big RV. There's that great sequence where the RV pulls up and Seth is there drinking, and he's looking at the van, making plans. And then Richie shows up, asks to borrow some ice. And then when he comes back, he's got a gun. And they both take the family, saying that you gotta come with us. Otherwise, I'm gonna shoot their kid. And I'm about to say, you know what, shoot the kid. All right, don't go to the LRA with these people, 'cause these are criminals. But they do. They go on the.
This is where we
Winnebago.
get that one scene of where Kate, like in Richie's mind, you see how his head works, where he's envisioning Kate asking her to asking him to
Oh,
perform
you
some
can say
sexual
it on
act
here.
with him.
We don't censor on the podcast here.
Okay,
So
well, she in his mind, she asks him to eat her pussy for him,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, okay, I can do that for you. Like, so
Yeah,
like you can
so-
see how his head works, where he's like he's the women are talking to him in his mind and saying like they want these things to happen to them, like that. So it adds a little bit to like what Richie's head frame of mind is.
I kind of like it too, where they're both on the Winnebago, and which is like, those things on the hotel room. Did you mean what you said? What did I mean? You said that you would, and she says, "Oh no," and says, "Well, we'll talk later about it."
Yeah.
And you got Seth in the background going, you have nothing to say to those kids anyway, so just keep your mouth shut. And the fact that Richie has a little bip in his mouth to keep him from grinding his teeth is those little elements that I appreciate about this, like those small little details
Yeah,
that each of these characters have. That's just
it's a
lot of
random
fun.
bit too, but it's like that's interesting to like add that in there. It makes a level of sense, I suppose.
You know? And so you have this family being taken hostage by these criminals, all right? And they get to the border, and we have another appearance from Cheech Marin, who plays the border control guard, and they're both Seth and Richie are hiding in the bathroom with Kate, and you got Scott and Jacob in the front seat, and they're talking, and Scott's like, "You got to tell the guys that the bad guys are back there." And Jacob's like, "No, this is my game plan. These are my rules. You stick by my rules, all right? This is my game. I'm running the show right here." And this is the part where things could turn into worse, and it could become this big bloodbath.
Mhm.
And this is where you kind of see when both Seth and Richie are in the bathroom with Kate, and Seth and Richie are arguing, and Seth doesn't let Richie. I kind of sense like there's some sort of like friendship or trust building between Seth and Kate. Just like a little bit, like, hey, we're in this situation, and there seems to be that moment of like, these guys are bad, but I don't know if they're as bad as I think they are.
Yeah, it's like it's the same with like Keitel and Seth, and when they're kind of driving along in the Winnebago in the RV, where Keitel can read this guy. He can tell, like, my family's, if we do what they say, he's not going to kill us. Like, I can buy, like, as hard as this guy's being, it's clear that he is a man that is using what means he has to accomplish something, not someone that's just going to be a sociopath and murder everybody. Richie, on the other hand, is the wild card. And so, yes, by having Seth have a scene where he basically eliminates Richie from the conversation by knocking him out, yeah, Kate would be there and be like, okay, yeah, this guy gets it also. It's not like he understands his brother's nuts. Like, you can't just like let him go off the leash all the time. That's not going to help anybody. So
Exactly. Now, I will say this though, for Winnebago, that's a pretty big bathroom to have 3 people in there. And that Winnebago has a shower in there too. Is that common in Winnebagos to have like a shower with like
I mean, that one did. So,
I mean, it was a pretty big shower too to fit like
it did look like a set. I mean, it looked like a real Winnebago. So, I mean, I was, they just found the deluxe version. I don't know.
It must have been the same Winnebago from Spaceballs. I don't know, but it just seemed like too small of a situation to have like those 3 characters. And she was sitting kind of like comfortably in the toilet stall. 2 other. All right,
it's less about like how big or how plausible it would be to have, like, I can imagine a Winnebago that has a shower. That makes sense to me. Yeah, if it's a small space. It's more the fact that Cheech Marin wouldn't be able to see 2 giant men standing next to. That's what more what throws me. Like, I know it's angled just enough where like, okay, fine, but that's more movie magic that he's not able to like see clearly that there's 2 guys standing right there in the shower also. It tries to get away with it by being like, well, she's on the toilet, so he's more concerned with that. Like, that's her.
And I gotta say, this set that he designed for this place is absolutely amazing. There's a documentary about the making of this movie that I will talk about later on. And they actually did build this set out on the desert. And which I find anytime someone makes a set with real wood and plumbing and everything where they could easily done on green screen is absolutely just amazing to me. And this place looks very cool. It's it's hard to even describe. Of all like Tarantino type of like venues from Jackrabbit Slims and on, this is probably one of my favorite establishments. It's a down and dirty bar. This is a bar that when I visited, yes, I would, but I would be killed. Even with all the vampires there, all right, I would probably get killed and beat up and robbed and whatnot because I'm not a truck driver, a taste, or even a car driver. I'm not even a moped driver, all right, so I would not be fitted into this place at all. But I love
it very quickly establishes what kind of place it is. Very well, without the obvious horror elements. Like in terms of like a dirty truck biker bar, you get it. It's very clear what it's doing, and it's a great design. The outside of it and everything, it looks great with all the neon lighting and literally called the Titty Twister. And they have a way of emulating that within the neon. Like that's so fun. And we haven't got inside yet, but it's a really great set design for sure.
And of course, we got Cheech Marin again
in his second role. Yes.
His wonderful speech right there. Pussy lovers, come on in. Pussy lovers, we got horse pussy, cat pussy, dog pussy, Harry's pussy, smelly pussy. We got Maltra High pussy. You want pussy? Come on, pussy lovers. We got pussy. Come on in here. And then you got Kate walking up here, and he's like, "We got a new flavor here, apple pie pussy." All right, horse play. The whole speech he gives is absolutely just great, hysterical, funny. Just kind of sets the tone that this like this really wild bunch. You got the music of ZZ Top in this as well. Just anything you put in with ZZ Top, you kind of set the mold that, all right, this is the bar with bikers and truckers and gangsters and thieves and all this things out in the middle of nowhere. You walk inside the place, it's like this big open area. It's almost like this pit, and you got women dancing up on like the rafters and everything like that there too. I love you got like Fred Williamson trying to play dominoes and this woman trying to dance. First of all, why are you dancing on someone's table and they're playing dominoes? I don't know. Um, and then you
I
got
was like they did that. He thought he could play dominoes. It's very like,
yeah. You got
we get a lot of care. We get Tom Savini in here as
Seth
Sex Machine
Machine.
with his cock gun.
Yes. Love that.
We get to Danny Trejo behind the bar. The band we have is another Rodriguez staple, Tito and Tarantula, and that's the lead singer Tito. He's in Desperado. He's in pretty much every Rodriguez film after this, or at least the adult ones.
And for the how does Scott get in here? Scott's not 21 at all.
They bring them all together. Well, they get in because they beat up Cheech Marin outside. They just walk in.
Well, they do walk in, but I'm surprised no one asked to check Scott ID. All right,
like, I don't feel like Mexico's worried about the ID of the drinkers. It's more
okay.
I don't think that's the problem here. I mean, obviously the main thing is that they only want truckers and bikers here. That becomes a source of contention. And because, as we learn, the vampires steal all the stuff from the truckers, but so it's like they have no need for regular people, let alone people that look like people that have people that'll be missed. So if you have you have a family of 3, it's like we don't want that kind of trouble here. We don't want the news vans coming around asking where's this wholesome family that, even though I don't know how they'd find them, but it's but like the idea is like, yeah, we don't want people that have nothing to offer, so why would they bring them here? But Jacob makes his argument, hey, I have a class A2 license to be able to drive a truck, therefore I'm a truck driver. These are my friends. So.
Yeah, just this normal thing about these 2 guys and this family hanging out, no big deal.
I mean, for them, it's like, I guess, I don't know, like, they just gotta let it happen. One of my favorite hands down deliveries in many, many movies is after all of this happens, after all this tension settled between Clooney, the other guy, and Trejo, he says, like, we're gonna get a table down here. We'll have a waitress come over. Do you serve food here? And Trejo says, best in Mexico. And Clooney says, I kind of doubt that. And Trejo gives him a look. It's the best. It's such a fun delivery and like reaction. It's so great.
Yeah. And it's at this moment too where they're all sitting down at the table together. This family doesn't really know the crimes that the Decker brothers have done. I don't think they really know of any crimes that they've done. And I find the moment where Scott sort of like chums up to Richie to be kind of endearing, but also kind of like dangerous because of the stuff we've seen Richie do. And Richie says to Scott, hey, you see those ladies up there? You want to dance, just let me know. I'll take care of you. And they seem to be kind of like chumming up to each other.
It's the kind of thing where at that point in the game, they're past the point of tension, right? Like obviously they're still threatened as far as they're just within the proximity of these people. However, the threat of death, this seems like a lot like that's not a factor anymore. They've gotten through the thing that they're there to do. So therefore, like Clooney says, you're all in my cool book now. So yeah, it's like I wouldn't want to still be involved with these people, but I get the idea, and certainly not Richie without them, like you're saying, without even knowing the extent of what Richie's horrible crimes are. But in terms of like we can lighten up a bit, I get where that comes from, I guess. And also, it's Scott. It's not like Tarantino's going to kill Richie's not going to kill Scott. That's not the person he wants, right?
No. But I do like the conversations that Jacob and Seth have during the table. And when Seth says to Jacob, I want you to do a shot with me. All right.
Uh-huh.
I need this right there. I feel like almost like Jacob is sort of like the lost father that Seth never really had in kind of like the strange way. And in a weird way, this is sort of like the family unit that he wants, with like the sister, brother, and dad
At
and whatnot,
at
just
the
sitting around
very
having a drink together.
at the very least, there's a begrudging respect, and it helps that you
Yeah,
have the two best actors, working with each other at this point. So like those scenes work more. Like the dialogue hits, the emotions that you're feeling in those scenes make a difference. And yeah, there's certainly a version of Seth that he certainly respects Jacob. Like he respects a man who is like, hey, not only did you help me out of this situation, you're a father and you dealt with this other stuff in your life. I can that's not the life I live, but like your point of view. I have no reason to. You don't not matter to me. I'm not. I'm not just gonna murder you for no reason. Like you're
sure.
a guy that like you've commanded your own way of life, and okay, I can respect that. And hey, your reasoning with me as to why I shouldn't like beat up this random guy because he put his hand on my shoulder earlier. Also, like there's just stuff there where like it connects. And so by the time things happen with Jacob and Seth doesn't feel good about that. It's like, damn it, I didn't want this family to die. Like I was just trying to
Yes,
that wasn't my goal here. So,
and then we're introduced to one of the greatest women who has the greatest names in this movie, Santa Monica Pandemonio, played by Salma Hayek, who
plus Snake.
does one of the best strip sequences in a movie whatsoever.
It was not even a strip, it's just a performative dance.
It's a performative dance, but it is an amazing performative dance for sure.
That leads to one of the most Tarantino things possible when she like extends her leg out to him, puts her foot in his mouth, and pours booze down his throat. Only Tarantino could pull this
Aaron,
off.
even if you're not a foot guy, if Salma Hayek is going to put her foot in your mouth, would you say no? We're talking to being married or not, all right? So even if you are married, all right,
I am not, but at the same, my head is as flattering as the opportunity might be. I'm just thinking about that bar and her stepping on things. Like this bar is, I don't want to put feet in my mouth. Like this is from the titty twister.
But in the movie that
I will.
her foot before
The greater point you're making, as far as Selma Hayek's immense beauty and what she's doing in this movie, certainly stands strong. One of my favorite entrances in movies is Desperado, where Salma Hayek is so beautiful that cars crash into each other. Because she's crossing the street, and it's like that's amazing. That's like such a great movie. That's like literally her entrance into like movie stardom, into like being in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and that's a great like when you look at like the way actors enter into movies in like the history of movies. Salma Hayek gets the credit of being like, yeah, I got to walk into a movie where people thought I was so beautiful that cars crashed while I was crossing the road. So like now I have to do it again with her, and From Dusk Till Dawn is like, okay, like I guess strip her down and put a snake on her. Like, what else can we do to top that? So sure, all right, it's great.
I can't remember. Was this like the second film that she was in? Because I know she had a very brief stint in Four Rooms, but I don't know what other. If she was she based in like Spain or Mexico before she came here, or
she doesn't have a lot like before Desperado. If anything. Between because the 2 years between Desperado and or 1 year, but like not, I don't know. Let me see. I don't think there's.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't
She surely blows up after all of this.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, but
yeah, she's got a few. Yeah, she's got a lot of like. There's some TV stuff. There's some Spanish things. She's a. Okay, yeah. So she's acting. She's doing like soap operas and things on in Mexico for sure. But movie wise, this is obviously like this big start of her.
It's not really right. And good thing. It's a great opening scene. After this moment happens, where you get this great dance, we have Cheech Marin character coming in from outside saying that Richie and Seth attacked them, and he did a whole bunch of crews together to attack and they stab Richie in his hand that already got hurt. And when Seth and Richie pull their guns, I'm thinking that this is going to be kind of a shootout with the other patrons in the bar. I'm not even thinking about vampires anymore at the start.
Well, you're so caught up in like the whole crime plot. There's no room to think of anything else. Yeah, for sure. I get it.
So you're thinking that, all right, the Depper brothers are going to take the whole bar hostage, and the whole element is how are they going to get out of this place? And then when there's that scene, that shot where it goes from like this green sort of like vial, like blood and dripping.
Yeah, because he's stabbed a guy in the hand, and it doesn't look normal.
Yeah. And then Kate looks up at Santa Monica Pandemonium. I can't do it in a normal voice. And she turns into like this lizard creature, and she jumps on Richie and starts biting him. And I love Seth's reaction. He's like, what the hell? Like, why is she biting this? Who is this lizard woman here? And the look of shock he has, and he shoots her. She goes away, and everyone turns to vampires. And I love the fact, especially how the K and B with Great Nick Charles and that team, they make these vampires ugly. And I love that so much. In fact, when you see some of the old TV spots, it says "real vampires, no interviews," saying
no
that
interviews.
no interviews. Because I know that Interview with the Vampire was another big movie that came out before this one. And I just love the fact that this makeup team makes these vampires hideous creatures. And if you watch the deleted scenes, you get to see more of the makeup effects. There was a vampire who had a mouth on her chest that opens up and eats people, trying to do the whole homage to The Thing. And there's another creature that has like this big tongue that comes out and starts slurping everyone.
They had a lot of ideas
practical.
Yeah, they had a lot. Like they really wanted to go like the monster route with vampires. I remember when Selma Hayek first changed when I first watched this movie. My mom was like, "Oh, so they're like alien vampires." It's like I don't know how to describe this. It's like it's nuts, and like there's no real like the rules are pretty slight. It's like crosses, water. Their bodies are soft. That's a key thing to it. Like they have soft bodies, and they explode in sunlight. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, they can pretty much do whatever they want to. Like that's it with the vampires.
I know.
They can turn into weird alien creatures or dogs or bats or whatever. Like there's no limits to what the vampires are able to do at that point.
The band having them have all their instruments or body parts.
That's like for me, yes, in a movie there where there's like dog vampires and other things. The craziest thing to me is the idea that the second Trejo and Merritt all turn into vampires and all hell breaks loose and everybody's getting attacked. We cut to the band playing like the same music except their instruments are replaced by like a human carcass that's been turned like a leg sticking out of the neck hole and it's been turned into a guitar and it's like when did they have time to do this?
I love that so much. Yeah, the whole torso, the bias.
It's so funny.
The lipstick now is little like neck piece right there. Oh, brilliant stuff. The action is very kinetic and chaos with the camera kind of moving every which way it can.
It's very Rodriguez. It's less about like how much logic needs to apply to the fight sequences and more how cool can it look if we just cut to different things doing like cool stuff happening with people being thrown across rooms, with shotguns blasting people across the place, tables being flipped upside down and like throwing people on them. Like it's just everything that you can do that's cool in this scene. That's what Rodriguez is like maximizing, especially because it's a movie that's got a low budget and they can only have so many like vampire costumes at one time. So that means, okay, we have to maximize, we have to shoot wide, but also not reveal that there's only so many things you can show at one time in the frame. So they just find cool shots and do it.
So they, for the extras they had, they obviously could not hire a whole bunch of people to do the makeup work. So they only had about maybe 4 or 5 people being these creatures. but they just shot them at different angles where it seemed like there was a lot more people there than were actually there, and I found it to be very kind of a brilliant thing.
Yeah, so like
about
the same
this.
stunt guy gets killed like 10 different times, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then there's like puppets and stuff in the background too to like kind of fill out the space as much as they can without revealing too much. So yeah.
After they do get most of the vampires out and things kind of do quiet down, I love the sequence when Seth says to everyone, "Hey, we got a real person here. We got a man of God on our side, all right?" And he says to Jacob, like, "Hey, I'm sorry your wife died, but we need you right now. So are you just gonna hide the corner, or are you gonna be a mean motherfucker of God?" And I love Harvey Keitel going, "I'm a mean mother of God." That's like probably one of my other favorite moments of that, just that little comedy element right there.
That's a good bit. The when they all like when things first settle down and Clooney's like, I don't want to hear everyone say that was vampires. I don't want to say everybody say that they don't believe in vampires because I don't believe in fucking vampires, and that's vampires.
Yes. Oh yes, and start going like one knows. And
obviously Richie dies at this point. We gotta like get into that. Like Richie dies, like he's been killed.
And then when Richie does come back, all right, when he first comes back with his head right there, I'm thinking that's Herman Munster.
They give him a big head. They
give him a huge head.
They give him a head that almost makes me feel like they're making fun of Tarantino. That's how big his head is.
Right? But there's one shot of just Richie looking with just his eyes and the face. He does that
where he comes out of it, right? It just goes back to Tarantino again.
That shot right there, I thought was actually really kind of cool. I kind of wish they kept that. I wish that was the make that they kept instead of the whole like demon big head, because right away I'm thinking I'm thinking Munster's right away with that. So that's but
fair.
And they're trying to like they want to kill him, and Seth is like, you put one thing on him. Vampires are not gonna have to like drink your blood. They can slurp it off the floor. Was a great line that he had there.
Yeah.
He wants to be the one to kill his brother for him. He wants to be the one to. He says to him, "Here's what I would give you in death that I could not give you in life." I'm paraphrasing that for sure, and I'm messed up that line completely.
It's pretty gross. Yeah.
Kills him in a pretty traumatic thing, and Kate's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I just killed my brother, Kate." "No, I'm not okay." Vampires are clearly showing up, and they're going to attack this place. And I think this is moment too where we know that Seth's machine got bit.
Yeah, they had to clean up all the bodies that were lying, all the ones that didn't turn yet. So they had like while they're doing that, Sex Machine accidentally gets bit by one of the vampires, and he hides it. So like he's as they're all going it's Fred Williamson's giving like this big speech about being in Nam or whatever, and like all this horrible thing he had to do. And as that's happening, Sex Machine's like slowly changing. He's hearing voices and whatnot. And he's like his fangs are starting to grow and his hands are starting to turn to vampire hands and all that. So yeah, he's and then he has that great scene where after Fred Williamson's like finishing up his whole story, like his hands come up around his shoulders, which like in the real world makes no sense because like why did he like Tom Zito have to like walk behind him very obviously and be behind him? But in this movie, it's just like weird and funny. Like his hands come up on him. Yeah,
if Fred was like, "Can't believe you just bit me." "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" And he throws.
He does the worst thing possible and throws him through the doors.
Bats show up everywhere. And I love the shot with all the bats coming out. And Fred Williamson got changed into the monster. And he almost seems, and the commentary track from Tarantino is like, Fred Williamson now is like the king of the vampires. He's like ruling the vampires to like go attack this family. And the family still happens to go into this area where a bunch of like weapons and supplies are there, and I think
they go to the back. They go to the back room where all this during this time, like as once the other things, once Sex Machine reveals himself as a vampire and bites, I think he like kicks Clooney across the room. Then he bites Jacob. He gets Harvey Keitel.
He does bite Jacob. That's right. He does
He
bite
bites Jacob and like throws him behind the bar. And then he gets to Fred Williamson and all the doors open and everything. All that happens.
You're right about that. And so we got Scott and Kate and Seth.
And Seth in the back.
They are both back. And then Jacob eventually does show up because he's able to take his guns and make a cross.
He takes the shotgun and a baseball bat and makes a cross out of it, and then like slowly able to work his way back, which is pretty cool. There's a great shot where he stands up because there's nothing. All the bats are in the room now, so all the vampires in there. So he stands up behind the bar, and you just get this great wide shot of all of the vampires there. They're all looking at him, and you're like, oh, he's got to get out of this situation. And fortunately, he makes the cross and kind of backs his way into the room, and okay, so that's where we are.
Yeah. He said, he gets in the room and he finds out that there's all the supplies of the weapons because these vampires have been doing this stuff like a while and they take all this stuff off of trucks and all these things. So this family made a bunch of weapons. They find crossbows.
They find the most useful set of weapons possible: a crossbow, a
Very
super soaker that Jacob can bless with holy water.
Yep.
Seth finds a jackhammer that he can put a stump in and turn into a jack staker.
Jack staker, yes. Yep. No. And there's that one great moment too where Jacob actually tells the kids, hey, I'm going to turn to a vampire, and when I do, will you kill me? And the person's very hesitant, and Jacob doesn't have the gun in his head, and he says, "I'm going to kill myself now. It's not suicide if you're dead already."
Yeah,
and it was a little tender moment right there between the family, and it's just like
it honestly, again, that's how good Keitel is. Keitel's so good doing this stuff.
It could be just thrown away too, but he's just like, oh, you feel kind of like for this family, it is like a very dire thing in a silly, campy vampire movie. Anyways, they go out and they fight the best that they can. They're great.
All hell breaks loose.
Kate is a natural with that crossbow.
Yeah.
For some reason, she just can move and does things just super badass as all things. Scott's good with the super soaker. Not only that, but the condoms filled with holy water and can attack vampires with that.
Which seems like the most useful weapon to have. Like if between the it's like that makes the most sense to me. Like especially if they're exploding the second you get them with water. Yeah, use that all the time. Crossbows you got to aim. The jackhammer seems like the least useful thing. That's like a one at a time and it's slow. Like you can get attacked by all sides if you're like stuck on one vampire with that thing. But whatever, he's Seth Gecko. He can do what he wants.
And seeing those like vampire effects with like melting or how
their faces are like half off and stuff. Yeah, you get that.
It's so freaking cool. And then we got the moment. Oh, go ahead.
As you get this, they kill a couple major ones, right? They get Fred Williamson. They get how do they kill him? Oh, he just gets like evaporated. Like he gets Jacob hits him with the shotgun through the chest and starts shooting vampires through him, and then takes the shotgun out of his body, and then he just like melts. Like it's great.
Yeah. Oh, and then when Seth's machine dies, because I think it was Seth that gets him with that whip.
Yeah, so Sex Machine he's had a whip the whole time. That's actually back up wait a little while earlier. He kills Trejo by he gets the whip on Trejo, pulls him onto a pool table, takes a stake out of Trejo. He throws a stake at Trejo, so he catches it, distracts him, whips him down. Then he takes a stake out of his head, stakes Trejo, and then when he melts, his eyeballs roll into the pool cue sockets, which is really nice.
Oh my God, forgot about that.
It's such a fun moment. But so Seth takes the whip away from Sex Machine, whips his head off, and then he turns into a dog creature out of nowhere.
Yeah. What the absolute fuck was going on with that? All right, I found the animatronic rat creature to be absolutely just great. I covered earlier the film Graveyard Shift for the Rotten Truth, and there's a rat creature in that.
Okay.
The rat creature in this is way more effective than in that movie. I found it to be absolutely just joy to watch, and I figured shit, this might be one of the big hand vampires here. Is a big giant rat creature.
Whatever. Like,
Great special effects. And there's a moment right before Jacob turns because he's going to attack all these vampires, and then he just stops.
Dad?
Yeah.
And it's the slow little movements that Harvey Keitel gives, like the small little jerk moments where you can see the transformation without actually seeing the transformation. Just those small little movements that he gives that I really enjoy. And then when he shows up, he's like almost like this like wolf dog boy.
Yeah.
With horns and ears and whatnot, and then Scott's looking all kind of confused. It's like, hey, is that my dad? And then before he can move, Jacob's on him, he starts biting him. And he's like, no, Dad, no, Dad, no. And then he throws
he takes one of the condoms filled with holy water and smashes it against his face, so he melts like half his face off. And then he destroys he shoots him. He shoots Keitel, so he blows up. And Kate's across the room, like, oh my god! And it's like, dude, he was a vampire. We gotta take care of this.
And then when Seth's like, fight now, cry later.
Yeah. And as that happens, then Scott gets like just rammed hard with like 6 vampires go all over his body, start biting him on the legs and the arms. They're all holding him. It sucks. It's so terrible.
It's like, kill me, Kate. And she told the gun, and
Kate,
she just saw her dad died.
Yeah, just saw that, and then she's out of arrows in her crossbow. She pulls a John Woo, and she does a front roll for some reason. Grabs the gun, and at first she's hesitant. She's like, I can't do it. So what she does, instead of shooting him, she shoots one of his other grenades and blows all of them up at once. And it's like, oh boy, all right, they're dead. And you can see it in Seth where he's like, as much as all this is happening, you can see in Seth's eyes, it's like, this sucks. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry this happened. Like, I didn't want this to be happening.
And then we got that great tension sequence near the end where all the vampires are showing up. And
you get a great call out to Assault on Precinct, which is funny because Scott's wearing an Assault on Precinct 13 shirt the whole time. And Kate, this is right out of Precinct 13, which Tarantino loves. Most people love it. It's also Precinct 13. It rocks. But she asks, should we save the last 2 bullets for us? And he's like, no, save for the next guy that tries to bite you. That's a perfect line.
That's great. But then they find out that when they shoot areas in the bar, sunlight pours in.
Well, they see the sun. Yeah, it's now it's dawn, so sun's starting to come in through some of the holes. And it's like, okay, shoot some more holes. So they make this kind of force field of sunlight around them. So the vampires can't like quite get to them, and they keep kind of like knocking them back when they can to keep them away.
I gotta say that has got to be, because I know that this movie was probably shot for probably good like $8 million or so, but even so, to have those fumes of light shine in at the right moment, because they almost seem like laser beams when they shine into those vampires, and to have it hit on their skin to make the skin melt and everything. It almost feels like this magic moment between like Editon and Layton, and set designed to make it look like the vampires are getting hit by all those elements. And then when Carlos shows up, played by Cheech Marin, and
our third Cheech Marin,
our delay breaks in with the disco ball, which I had no idea there was a disco ball there at all. And the disco ball shines lights on everyone, and everyone just like blows up. All the vampires and things blow up.
It's so cool. We're like, they open the doors, like, okay, great, we can run out of here. And all I know, the doors open, they can escape. But the fact the light hits, like the light's already blowing all the vampires up, and then you get that shot of the disco ball, and it's one of those like great moments in your mind when you like the audience and the filmmaker are all in sync as far as like, we all know what's going to happen now. And like the light just hits everything and it's all explosion. It's great. It's a really great moment.
And I love Carlos' lines in there. What's going on there? Were those psychics or something? And
this is one of my favorite lines. Yeah,
those are not psychos. Psychos don't explode when somebody hits them. I don't care how fucking.
What the fuck was going on in there? What's the matter with you? Are you crazy?
Why, out of all of the godforsaken shitholes in Mexico, do we have to meet here?
One place is just as good as another.
You've never been here before.
No. I drove by it a couple times. It's a rowdy place. It's on the middle of nowhere. There'll be no cops. And it's open from dusk till dawn. Hey, didn't you say you want to meet in the morning? Here we are.
Well, since you just picked this place out of the hat, my brother is dead. That girl's entire fucking family is dead.
What, were they psychos? Or?
They look like psychos? Is that what they look like? They were vampires. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are.
Crazy they are.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. No, they were not psychos. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't care how fucking crazy. That's such a funny line.
Yeah, I'll tell how crazy you are. All right. Yeah. All right. Oh, and Charles like, well, sorry, man. All right. And then Seth says, I want more than just. I want less than 30%. All right. My brother's dead. Rural family's dead, and they do bring it down. Now, you would think that maybe
bad barter
and Seth would become sort of like this romantic couple at the end, because people kind of suspect that with the bad boy and the good girl.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's romantic, but certainly like a platonic. I didn't get romantic from that. I got maybe platonic pairing, or like, you know, a tough older brother type of thing. Not necessarily romantic.
Romantic. Okay. I would say that most of the people, they probably would have seen that.
I think there's a version of this movie. I think there's a lesser version of this movie that could lean into that. I think this movie. Fair. Seth is fairly not, you know, he likes what he likes, but he's fairly asexual. He's pretty much like his focus of the movie is not to be like, I hope I find a woman during all of this kind of thing. Like there's just nothing there that speaks to that. So it's like,
that's true.
I don't think him like, even if he was like, Kate, come with me, I don't think that'd be Kate, come with me so we could like become wed and like be together.
Okay.
I think it's more of like, I get it. You don't have a family anymore. We can hang out. I can teach you the ways or so, whatever like that, something along those lines. Instead, Seth is very reasonable and says, here, take a stack of money because I'm sorry, and go home because you don't want this life. You know what? I love what he says. Like he says, you know where I'm going, Kate? You know what El Rey is? He doesn't even describe it. He's just like, this is not a place for you. You are an innocent. I am a mean motherfucker. I've killed all kinds of people, let alone this whole vampire scenario we just got out of. I had a brother that's a rapist. There's no life for me outside of whatever El Rey is. You don't want to be there. That's where people like me are. You don't want more people like me. Like, go home.
That's fair. Yeah. They both kind of grow in their own separate ways. Kate gets into the Winnebago. She drives off, and Seth
I like
goes with Carlos.
I like Carlos saying, Seth, it's time. Almost like he's like the Grim Reaper welcoming into like this other world now. Like, I like that a lot. There's just something that's like underplayed just enough where it's like, it's time to go. Like, we gotta do this.
That's a good point there.
Again, this movie rocks. Like, I love this movie so much. I just read into all this dialogue, so it's so great.
I love the reveal at the end too.
Oh yeah,
where it shows that this bar has been doing stuff like for centuries.
Yeah,
and
you
the way
see
that the camera pulls out.
Yeah,
and it shows like almost like this Aztec. Designs.
So like the top of the bar is like the top of like an Aztec pyramid. So like on the front of it, all you're seeing is just the bar, and then there's like a canyon behind it. So that on the backside, you see all the cars and trucks and motorcycles piled up, and like the rest of the bottom of the pyramid. So it's like, oh yeah, this thing is this is some ancient place that's been around here for centuries, and it's it has it's some kind of pyramid, so there's some kind of whatever spiritual elements that leads to vampires coming around.
I do want to give your thoughts on this. Have you seen the two other sequels?
I have. It's weird. As much as I like this movie, and I have nothing against watching them, I just never like took the time to watch them. They're on pair. Like I watched this, I have it, but It was on Paramount. It was easier for me to just put it on Paramount Plus. The other two sequels are on Paramount Plus. I'm like, I should watch these. Like, I have nothing. Like, especially, I've heard the second one's pretty solid. Not like amazing, but like it because it has Bruce Campbell and Robert Patrick. Like, why would I not want to watch that? That sounds fun.
With it is I have seen them.
Yeah,
I just don't remember them that much.
Fair. Okay.
The second one is about this team that do like this bait heist, and it goes kind of like wrong, and on the way back, one of them stops at the Tea Twister and gets defended by vampires, and then he comes back to the team and messes everyone up. And the third one's a prequel.
It's a prequel, right? Yeah.
And I need to watch that again because it's been several years since I watched it, and I really don't remember anything about it. The only thing I like about this movie, now I'm holding up right now the DVD, as you can see right here.
Yeah, the Miramax Collector Series DVD. Yeah.
It's got 2 discs in here. All right. Now, you would think that disc 1 would be the movie From Dusk till Dawn, and disc 2 would be all the kind of cool special features and whatnot. But no, when you pop on disc 1, it is the documentary Full Tilt Boogie, which is all about the making of From Dusk till Dawn. And I'm going to play just a small little trailer of this because this actually is a really good documentary.
Now available to rent on video.
Guys, I'm waiting on Quentin and George. Where in the hell are they? Let's go, guys. Move it.
Copy that, Doug. Looking. To set. Okay, gotcha. Set. Cool. Okay.
Upside down, wood, bones. I mean, I don't know what's happening here.
Anyone got a 20 on Clooney or Tarantino?
Oh, we're gonna have chicken again today? I started as Diane Carroll's boyfriend in the Julia show.
Still looking.
What's your name again? Houston?
Give me H.
Okay. Somebody had better be walking with them.
No, we weren't supposed to burn the facade down, no.
Just left here. Okay. When Henrik walks and kind of does his sort of monster undulation, the mouth looks like it's opening and closing.
What did I tell you? What did I say to you? I said, buy the roadmap and leave.
What am I supposed to do, Seth? Recognize this.
Yeah, right now.
Seth, I'm telling you, the way he looked at us, you especially, I knew he knew.
Low profile. You understand the meaning of the words low profile?
What I love the best about that documentary is that unlike other documentaries that focus more on like the actors or the directors, this one focuses on the grips, the assistant directors, the set designers, the assistants to both Clooney and Tarantino, the people that behind the scenes that you don't get focused on movies much. And this one is a lot of fun, and you get to just watch these people who enjoy their jobs. It's a hard job, but you see them have fun, and you see both the actors and the crew people get together and just have fun behind the scenes. And it's really kind of cool. There's even a sequence where they have a kind of contest for who has the best butts and whatnot, and so they take crew members' butt shots and what it just.
It's been a minute since I watched Full Tilt because I do have that DVD set, so I have Full Tilt. I might watch it after this, honestly, because it's a fun doc. But it's a mix of like what you're saying, like the behind the scenes focused on the kind, the people behind the camera, while also having stagey bits with Tarantino and Clooney and whatnot, just to kind of like round out the film. And it also deals with the fact that it's like a non-union film, and so like the kind of the drama that came with that, as far as making a direct decision to not use a union, which is not typical when it's like a fairly expensive, or at least not an indie essentially. So like there's some interesting states, like there's some meat on the bone for that documentary as well. That's pretty interesting to look at.
As far as like what's like sort of like made a movie,
Yeah.
I would say watch Full Tilt Boogie because that gives you everything right there. They're not just simple sound bites and whatnot. So
Mhm.
very cool. I just want to put that part in there about it, especially if you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn and you enjoy it. Uh, I know I watched like the first like episode of the TV show, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't watch the whole series of it. Did you watch the
Yeah.
TV show?
I watched the first couple episodes and I wasn't not into it. It was just more whatever happened with time. I just like it wasn't like the priority watch for me, so I just never kind of came back to it. Again, it's something where it's like it's out there, it's not hard to watch, so I could watch it if I want to. It's just a matter of when will I ever get to it. But I heard late because it's like I think it's what 3 seasons maybe total, something
Yeah.
like that. I think I've heard that it gets better as it goes along. So I mean, I don't know um enough to know why or what have you, but
Yeah.
it's it's a tricky kind of thing to do whenever you're like remaking something like this. It's so specific, and you have like new people in these roles, and you're like, can I accept that? That kind of thing.
Oh. Well, Aaron, thank you for being on the show. Before we go, please give your closing thoughts on From Dusk Till Dawn, and then
I
share where we can find you.
From Dusk till Dawn is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've always been a fan of From Dusk till Dawn. I'm a huge fan of Robert Rodriguez. I think this is a great part of his career where he's like exploring what he can do with his friendships and collaborations on a low budget, working kind of in a studio, but kind of feeling out like what am I able to get away with. I mean, he'll go on to do things that I also really, really like. I mean, obviously, you'll get to like Sin City, among other things, where he's like really pushing himself as a filmmaker. But here's a chance for him to just like have a lot of fun with one of his good friends making a Grindhouse film before he made the film Grindhouse. I like
Yes.
this more than I like Grindhouse. That was always,
Fair enough.
and the way they always advertised, like, oh, those guys are making Grindhouse movies. Like, they made one. It was great. It was called From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yep.
But no, I think this is it's a blast of a movie for me. I think it's one of the great genre benders as far as being like a really locked in crime thriller that turns into this wild horror film. It's very creative, great special effects and practical effects, what have you. The cast is really cool here. I think everybody's just dialed into what they're trying to do in this kind of a movie. I feel like if not everything's comparable, but like if you want to still look at something recent, the film Last Stop in Yuma County, do you see that one,
I
Vern?
have not.
That's a great that's a cool movie about just like uh, a criminal element that invades this one diner on this long day of just things going wrong in a darkly comedic kind of way. I think if you watch something like this, which obviously is different because it's vampires, but like if you watch something like this and then watch something more modern like that movie, The Last Stop in Yuma County, you get a great feel of like, yeah, it's cool to just see these dusty crime movies that have a little, something there to them that makes them extra special. So, yeah, big fan of From Dusk Till Dawn. And I look forward. I hope you have a fun journey going through the rest of Rodriguez's career because
Oh,
there's certainly a lot of ups and funds and what have you.
oh, it's gonna be a blast.
For sure.
But yeah, tell listeners out there where we can like find you. And
Yeah, everything I do can be found on my personal Substack page, thecodazeek.substack.com. I am the editor-in-chief at We Live Entertainment. All my movie reviews can be found there. I host a couple of podcasts. One is called Out Now with Aaron and Abe. My friend Abe and I talk about weekly movie releases with various film critics and other film fans on a weekly basis. We also do commentaries and fun stuff like that. And then I also co-host the award-winning Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla. My friend Terrence, fellow film critic, and I, we talk about the Godzilla films in chronological order. We're at the 90s Heisei era right now, so we're talking about those films. And yeah, you can find and I'm on all the socials at Aaron's PS4.
all right, very cool. I'll post links to in the show notes where you can find them. Thank you very much. We are continuing our look at Robert Rodriguez movies. I'm kind of doing this like out of order because I was sick last week, so episodes that were scheduled got changed around and whatnot. And the order that these are being released are not going to be in order. Plus, the cool thing about recalling Rodriguez compared to other director series that I've done is that this is going to be going on all the time. All right. Like I'm not committing this to just being 1 month. I want this to go every month in which way because I've got other things I'm preparing for. One is a new audio drama adaptation of The Breakfast Club. We've done Reservoir Dogs, we've done Clue, and next one we're gonna do is The Breakfast Club. So I got the cast of that right now. We're just trying to pinpoint dates because this one I'm going to release it live, which means I'm going to do all the sound effects live and the music as the actors do the
fun.
parts. But we got to practice it, first of all,
Yeah,
before we
rehearsal's
actually do
key.
it live.
I'd imagine, yes.
Rehearsals to be a key thing. So we try to find dates to do the rehearsals and doing the recordings is going to take some time. So just wait for that. Please check out our past episodes of Cinema Recall on our website, cinemarecall.net. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cinema Recall Pod, where you'll be getting this episode early before anyone else does. So check that out there. Join our Facebook group, Crack Cinema Recall's Awesome Cinematic Club. A lot of good stuff on there as well. And again, thank you to Aaron from the Code Z to now with Aaron and Abe. Great to have you on here. Hopefully you'll come back on here again for another movie or another director series. Love to have you back, man. This has been
I'd be happy to. This was a lot of fun, and thank you for having me. This has been great.
All right. And ladies, everyone, we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.